So in the last class, we were discussing about Palo Alto firewall, right? And I told you about Palo Alto firewall features and what are the different types of firewalls available, right? We will also discuss about Palo Alto firewall licensing, okay? Because if you want to enable certain security features on Palo Alto firewall, you need to enable a specific subscriptions or license, okay? After that, you will be able to use them. So we will discuss about licensing later. For now, let's discuss about Palo Alto SP3 architecture. Okay, it is called single pass parallel processing architecture. You can write it like this, single pass parallel processing architecture. Okay. In short, it is called SP3. Now, if I talk about SP3 architecture, you can say that in Palo Alto firewall or Palo Alto next generation firewalls are based on a unique single pass parallel processing architecture. Palo Alto. I told you that it is a next generation firewall, not only a firewall. Next generation firewall or firewalls are based on a unique single pass or a unique SP3 architecture, single pass parallel processing architecture, which which enables high throughput, low latency, low latency network security in the network. Okay. High throughput means throughput is called packet processing speed of the device of the Palo Alto firewall. Okay. Packet processing speed. So if I talk about this architecture, it is called SP3. It defines the packet flow, how the Palo Alto firewall is going to process the packet and how the packets will be forwarded. Okay. Like in other next generation firewalls, you can face some performance issue. Okay. Some performance issue because they are applying all the policies one by one. But this SP3 architecture will apply all the policies at once per packet. You don't need to inspect the packet again and again with different network security policies. Okay. Okay. So you can say that it combines two complementary components or it has two components. First one is called single pass software. And parallel processing hardware. This is the second component. Okay. Now, what is the use of single pass software? Now, single pass software is designed to, you can say, achieve two key functions. Okay. Two key functions within Palo Alto next generation firewall. First one is that single pass software performs operations once per packet. Okay, all the policies will be applied at once per packet. As a packet is processed, networking function, policy lookup, application identification, and decoding, signature matching for any or all threats will be applied at once, will be performed just once. Okay. That's why it is called single pass software. Okay. Clear. So you can, after that, you can say that it will reduce the amount of processing overhead required to perform multiple functions in one security device or in one next generation firewall, right? The second benefit of single pass software is the content scanning step. The content scanning in Palo Alto firewall is streamed based and uses uniform signature matching to detect and block threats instead of using separate engines or policies or signature set, okay, requiring multi-pass scanning. Okay. Here you can say that single pass software is designed to achieve two key functions. Two key functions. Okay. First, you can say the single pass software performs software performs operations once per packet. Once per packet. As a packet is processed, networking function, policy lookup, application identification and decoding, application identification and decoding, signature matching, signature matching for all threats, for all threats and content, threats and content are all performed at once. Okay, are all performed at once. It reduces the amount of processing overhead. Processing overhead required to perform multiple tasks on a security device. Okay, on a security device. Second is the content scanning step. Or you can say the second is content scanning. It uses a stream based and uses a uniform signature matching to detect and block threats. To detect and block threats. Okay. Instead of using separate engines and signature set. Signature set. Okay. Clear. So the single pass traffic processing enables very high throughput processing enables very high throughput and low latency. What is latency? Any idea? With all security functions active. Okay. Clear. So this is your single pass software. The second component is parallel processing hardware. See, these two components are the part of Palo Alto firewall SP3 architecture, right? So they are defining how the Palo Alto firewall is going to secure the communication, how it is going to process the packets, right? Like if I talk about other next generation firewalls, then they are going to process the packet by every policy one by one. Okay. So it takes a longer time and it utilizes a lot of resources on the network device. Okay. So rather than inspecting the traffic using multiple policies, we are just going to apply the policies at once, right? After that, we have parallel processing hardware. So you can say the parallel processing hardware is the critical component of Palo Alto SP3 architecture. Okay. So here you can say that Palo Alto next generation firewall uses parallel processing hardware to ensure that the single pass software runs fast. Software runs fast. Okay, clear. In Palo Alto firewall, the management plane and data plane, or you can say the control plane and data plane are separated. Okay, are separated. This separation means that heavy utilization of one will not negatively impact the other. This separation means the heavy utilization of one will not impact the others. Okay, will not impact the other. See, if I talk about a Cisco router, Then on that router, you know that you will configure some management plane protocol so that you can take management access of that router, right? After that, you will configure some routing protocol so that your router can find out the best path to reach all the destination networks, right? And after that, the same router is responsible to forward the traffic, user traffic, data plane traffic also, right? But here in Palo Alto firewall, it is not like this. On Palo Alto firewall, the control plane and data plane, they are separated, okay? Let's say if you are running a heavy script in the control plane using the management interface, then it will not negatively impact the data plane forwarding running on the Palo Alto firewall. Or if any reason high volume of data packets are coming to the Palo Alto firewall, then it will not negatively impact your management interface or control plane traffic. Okay, clear. So parallel processing hardware is responsible to perform several critical functions. Processing hardware is responsible to several critical perform several critical functions. Okay, like networking, routing, flow lookup. Apart from this, or you can say etc., are performed on network specific hardware. Then you do 1 minute. Okay. So flow lookup, all these tasks will be performed at once. User ID, app ID. See, to perform this networking functions, flow lookup, right? And routing, we have this network specific hardware. Okay. Now for app ID, application identification, user ID, user identification, and policy all occur on a multi-core security engine, on a multi-core security engine with hardware acceleration. What I it with hardware acceleration. It is checking for encryption and decryption. Okay. Content ID or content analysis uses dedicated specialized content scanning engine. Content analysis uses dedicated specialized content scanning engine. Okay. So that it can perform content aware filtering. Like if you want to do file blocking or URL filtering, application control, right? Then wildfire analysis, antivirus scanning, anti-spyware scanning, malware scanning. Then you are going to use a specialized content scanning engine. Okay. On the control plane, a dedicated management processor, a dedicated management processor with dedicated disk and RAM runs the configuration with configuration management, logging, logging, and reporting. And reporting without touching data processing hardware. Okay, without touching data processing hardware. The combination of single pass software and parallel processing hardware is completely unique in network security, and it enables Palo Alto next generation firewalls to provide visibility and control to enterprise applications and traffic. Okay. This is called SP3 architecture. See, if you go to Palo Alto website, then you can learn about it. Okay. Same information is given there. Otherwise, you can check the notes. I will share a link. From there, you can download the notes and other things. Okay. For now, you can put Palo Alto firewall SP3 architecture. You can open this. No problem. This is the product website. Open this paloguard.com. See, here you will find a lot of resources to learn about Palo Alto firewall. See, here you can see this picture, right? See, it is showing this single pass software. And here it means this policy lookup, flow lookup, app ID, user ID, content ID, networking function. All these functions will be applied at once by this single pass software, right? But all the processing is going on these processors. Like here I told you that control plane and data plane, they are separated in Palo Alto firewall. So for control plane and management plane traffic, there is a dedicated processor attached in the Palo Alto firewall. For that control plane processor, we have a dedicated RAM and CPU also. And this is your data plane. To handle the data plane, here we have three different engines, right? Networking, then security, and content. That's what I told you in parallel processing hardware, right? So you can read these things from here. See this networking, routing, flow lookup, stats counting, NAT, and similar functions are performed on network specific hardware on this one. This is your network specific hardware, right? After that, user ID, app ID, policy all occur on a multi-core security engine with hardware acceleration for encryption and decryption. This one. This is your security processor, which will perform app ID, user ID, all these operations, right? After that, content ID analysis uses dedicated specialized content scanning engine. The last one. This is content scanning processor, right? Okay. Clear. So you can read about this from Palo Alto website itself. This is called Palo Alto architecture. It will allow the Palo Alto firewall to provide higher performance and low latency. See, the latency is called delay in packet forwarding. Okay. Delay in packet forwarding is called latency. Let's say if you are trying to ping google.com, right? Here it is giving this time. We measure latency with this TTL. Oh, sorry, not TTL. With this time. Okay, not TTL. This is also called timeout. So if this time is exceeding more than 2000 milliseconds, right? More than 2000 milliseconds, then your ICMP operation will be failed. It means ping will be unsuccessful, right? If ping is successful, it means destination network is reachable. And here it will show you the delay or latency, right? Clear, clear. Delay in packet forwarding is called latency. How much time taken by that device to process and forward the packet. Okay. Clear, guys. Any doubt till now?
No, sir.
Now let me go to the lab and let me access it. Admin password. Have you guys used EVNG? आप लोगों ने EVNG यूज किया EVNG?
No, sir.
ओके ओके
क्या है सर?
क्या? I can't get you. No, it is not loading. Login. Okay. I think I am putting
Go
wrong
with
password.
this label GNC or VMware.
It is running on VMware. Okay. Okay, guys. So this will be our lab. Here we are connecting this Palo Alto firewall, right? It is connected with an outside network. I told you, whenever you are going to connect a firewall in the network, it will perform network segmentation, right? It is going to divide your network into multiple segments, into multiple parts. And you can identify them based on their security level. Like if you are configuring Ethernet one by one interface with internal network devices, then you can consider it as your inside interface, right? And you can also call it internal zone interface. Apart from this, if you are configuring the Palo Alto firewall gig 0 E0 by 2 interface, then you can configure it as a outside interface, as an external zone interface. Okay. Then here you can see I have created another segment, right? This segment is called DMZ. It is called DMZ, demilitarized zone. Now, DMZ is a special type of security zone in which you are going to assign the servers which you are hosting from your network. Okay. Yeah, so this is your DMZ segment, demilitarized zone. In DMZ, we connect our server so that if any attacker wants to access it, it should not be able to access. The attacker can be connected with outside network or public network, and you are connecting this application server, like here you can see server 1, server 2, server 3 in your internal network or DMZ. DMZ is called demilitarized zone. Now these servers are accessible from the internet, like any public user or internet based user or remote user can access this application, right? Apart from this, internal endpoints or internal users can also access this application. So this zone is called DMZ because it is partially secure. Outside users can also send the traffic towards the network devices connected in DMZ if the traffic is allowed. Okay. But outside users will not be able to send the traffic to internal secure होता है. Okay. Clear. So let's start the device and let's see how can we initialize the firewall. See, right now we are starting a new firewall without any configuration. Okay. So if you are having a Palo Alto firewall box, let's say PA220, PA400 series device, PA800 series device, PA2000, PA5000, PA7000, right? These are all the different model numbers of Palo Alto firewalls. According to the network size and the requirement, you are going to purchase one of them, right? Okay. So I have started Palo Alto firewall and this firewall is not configured yet. You have to do all the configuration from the scratch. Okay. Like you can see in the topology, I am connecting these interfaces. You can see this is your management interface, right? This is your management interface. And this management interface is connected with a switch. This is your management switch connected in out of band management network. Okay. Connected in out of band management network. Okay. See, out of band management means when we use a dedicated interface. Okay. A dedicated interface to provide management access of the management access of the Palo Alto firewall, then it is called out of band management access, right? When we use a dedicated management interface, it is physically available on the next generation firewall chassis. Okay. Clear, guys. So we are starting this Palo Alto firewall for the first time. So we have to do all the configuration from the scratch. Like by default on Palo Alto firewall, you will find a management IP address is configured, which is 192.168.1.1. Okay. If you want to use a different management IP address, see, this Palo Alto firewall will be configured through GUI. It provides centralized, you can say, configuration and policy management platform where you will be able to collect all the logs and reports also so that you can analyze the traffic which is going through the firewall, right? So it also provides management and reporting logging features. Palo Alto Firewall. You will be able to collect the log on Palo Alto Firewall itself. It will show you in the monitor section. And we are going to do all the configuration from the GUI. Only for the except for the initial things like before going to the GUI, you need to configure management interface of the Palo Alto Firewall, right? So you will go to management interface, you will assign IP address, subnet mask, everything. After that, we will take the GUI access of Palo Alto firewall using its management IP address. Okay. So that we can configure it via GUI. Okay. Any doubt, guys? So right now firewall is starting. I will tell you about different types of interfaces which are supported on Palo Alto firewall. Then we will configure different interfaces like layer 3 mode, layer 2 mode. Okay. And then we will configure routing and other stuff also. Okay. So Palo Alto firewall, I have already started and I am starting this management switch also. Okay. This is your Active Directory server. We will use it later when we will do user ID practical. Okay. User identification. At that time, we are going to use this user ID feature. Okay. So click on the device. It will open the console like this. Okay. Here I can write default username, default password, and default management IP address for the Palo Alto firewall. Here you can say default management IP address 192.168. One dot one. This is default management IP address. Okay. Now after this, we have username. Username is admin by default. And the password is admin 123. Okay. Clear. So let's go to the lab and here you can see the Palo Alto firewall is starting. Okay, guys. Just wait for some time. When you are starting it for the first time, जब आप Palo Alto firewall को पहली बार start करोगे, it will take at least 10 minutes to boot up. See, it is showing the default management interface IP address, right? This is the default management interface IP address. When you are going to configure it in the network, if you are using same management interface subnet, then you can use same IP. Otherwise, if you are using a different subnet, like here, we are using 10.110/24 subnet. So we need to change this management interface IP address, right? Okay.
आप कहते हैं ना जीआई में करेंगे परफॉर्म, तो अभी ये सीएलआई मोड में।
Yes, but see, initial configuration के लिए तो हमें CLI लेना पड़ेगा ना access. See, if you are not using, let's say, if you are not using 192.168.1.0/24 subnet in your network, then you have to change this management IP, right? And you will do it with the help of CLI only, because for now GUI is not available, right? Okay. So only initial configuration will be done through the CLI. And after that, whatever things you want to configure on Palo Alto firewall, you will do it via GUI. So let's take the access of Palo Alto firewall. It is still booting. Just wait. Okay, guys, now let's go to the CLI. See, it is started. It is asking to log in, right? So I told you about the default username and password. Default username admin, password capital A, DMIN 123, admin 123, A capital, right? So here, let's try to log in, username admin, and this is the password. See, it is not allowed to log in right now because the Palo Alto firewall is starting all of its processes, okay? So you will be able to log in after 5 minutes, you can say. Just wait for some time. Now let's try to log in if the firewall is started. Now use username admin and password capital ADMIN123. Now I think I have put wrong password. Okay. Admin. Okay. So let me log in. I think wrong password was entered. Wait, guys, it is coming up. Okay. And guys, from tomorrow onwards, we will do proper class. Okay, from 4:30 to 6:30. 4:30 से 6:30. ठीक है. अभी थोड़ी मेरी एक मीटिंग चल रही है इसलिए नहीं हो पा रही थी क्लास. आज ही खत्म हुई है वो. Guys, let's do it tomorrow only because there is some problem in the image. नहीं तो अब तक start हो जाती recording.